We're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Tuesday, the Bengals unveiled their new locker rooms. Dave Lapham got a tour of those new digs, and boy, I can tell just by the sound of your voice, locker rooms have changed from the days you played.
Boy, there's no doubt about that, Dave. I mean, 1974 at old Spinney Field, before they redid Spinney Field, I had lockers in the locker room that were bigger in junior high school and high school. It was crazy. But yeah, it just keeps evolving. The locker room itself is so spacious, and the lockers inside the locker room for each player are just so spacious in comparison, and they're state of the art. I mean, it's incredible. The light show that they have going on, they raised the ceiling in the locker room. They have a big lit ceiling with a huge football shaped sphere in the middle of the ceiling that flashes lights and on and off, and it's like you're almost in a disco at a club or something when they get those lights going. And each locker itself has a box, an electrical box, where if something goes wrong with the lights that are supposed to be operating in that specific locker, they can actually open that box and find out what's going on and take care of it and fix it. But the thing that was most impressive to me, Dave, is Adam Nolan, the equipment manager, had an idea from all his experience. This is his 17th year with the Bengals. All of his experience with current players, former players, other teams, seeing locker rooms from other teams, lockers in those locker rooms from other teams. He had an idea, and player feedback, he had an idea of what he wanted. And man, it is functional football space. I mean, there is no wasted space in there. You open one door and you can slide out drawers. You open another door, you can slide out shelves. I mean, there's not 1 inch in that locker that is can't be used for the players. And I mean, it's just amazing. They don't have backs to their seats because they didn't. That was an intentional thing. They wanted to be able to hang clothes back there, but they've got padded seats, and those padded seats open up and give players more storage for other items, shoes or whatever that they want to take care of, cleats. It's just amazing. And then every one of these little compartments, there's a compartment at the top for the helmet, and it has like 3 fans in it to dry the helmet out. There's a compartment below that. You pull out a shelf, and if you're wearing extra pads under your shoulder pads, if you're wearing some sort of a pad to protect an injury on your body, those can be all dried out. Your hip pads, your thigh boards, your knee pads. I mean, it's incredible. And that's a big deal, because the last thing you want to do is put, sweaty, stinky pads and clothing on for practice potentially, So, I mean, they thought of everything. They left no stone unturned, believe me. And SoFi is probably the newest stadium that's been built, and the architects that they used out of Dallas are like that. This is every bit as nice as what they've got going on at SoFi. If it's not top of the National Football League, it's probably in the top 3. They really just did a heck of a job. And really, for the players, it's their home. It's home away from home. But they spend more time in that locker room with each other than they do with their families, during the season. So you want that locker room to be someplace where players look forward to going and congregating, not just for football purposes, but there are going to be guys in there, talking about life, talking about what's going on with their families, talking about everything and anything. That's where a lot of bonding goes on, is in that locker room. And man, it's a place that guys are going to definitely feel comfortable about going and spending some time together. There's no question about it.
Yeah, from the press release, Lap, the thing that impressed me most, everyone wants those, locks that can be end up with a cell phone and electrical outlets and wireless phone charging and all that. But as a player, being able to put your equipment, gloves, cleats, other gear, in an area that gets dried, especially You take a day like yesterday where you have some rain, let alone the sweat that's coming off the athlete, and you'll be able to take that stuff, put your cleats in there, and know that when I come back in the next day, hey, we have it set up to where my cleats are dry. I don't have to worry about them, or I don't have to go get another pair of cleats just to go through another day of practice and break those in. And to me, that's going to be one of the biggest things about this locker room, because not only is it player comfort, but it's really healthy because it's
Yeah,
hygiene wise, it's super
no
great for the
question.
player.
Yeah, sanitary. It's like um, athlete's foot. You name it. All kinds of bacteria, all kinds of fungus can be eliminated by drying things out immediately and drying them out thoroughly. So all of that sort of thing that you might have had to worry about back in the day, and we did. Believe me, we did. It wasn't just making sure your socks were dry. There was a whole lot of other things from an equipment standpoint that you had to make sure was not bacteria and fungus and that sort of thing wasn't forming on that was going to transfer to your body. I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of benefits there. The other thing is each locker has its own safe. I mean, everybody has their own combination to their safe. They can lock up valuables and feel real comfortable in that regard. Not that teammates are going to steal from teammates, but you just never know who might be in through that locker room someday during the course of the year. So there's the security of that as well. I mean, they did not leave any detail out. No stone was unturned, and the process. I asked how many renditions did you go through, and they didn't really give me a number, but it was like, boy, it was months. It was like 3 months of taking input and this obviously the architectural firm had seen every stadium there is to see known to man. Adam Nolan had done the same. I mean, he's gone and seen a bunch of stadiums as well as been in them as a visiting team in the National Football League, and he's talked to equipment guys at all levels, and yeah, they just tons of input, tons of information, and Adam made the initial sketch for the locker itself. Now the locker room obviously was architectural design, and it's beautiful. I mean, the finished product is, I mean, I'm sure guys came in there buzzing. Now there was probably all different scope and range of reactions. Some guys are very, very quiet and they don't show anything. Other guys are more business-like and they might say something, and other guys go crazy. And it was probably a combination of all of it. So, but there's no way that anybody had a beef or a complaint about what they saw in that locker room when they walked in there. I mean, it's something to definitely be proud of. Like I said, it's probably top three. No way it's out of the top five in the National Football League. I'm saying it's got to be top three. No question about it.
And definitely something that the Bengals will use going forward when we start talking about future free agents looking at the Cincinnati Bengals as possibly their new home. That locker room will sell itself.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like in college, Dave. Look at the locker room that Michigan built. Are you kidding me? They have simulated, driving range for golf. They have everything. I mean, I think guys could live in there basically. They've got just about everything you would want in that locker room, and it's a recruiting war, and that's what free agency is in the National Football League. It's a recruiting war. So not only do players want to go somewhere where they feel like they can win football games and their professional careers can thrive, they want to go someplace. These are huge tiebreakers. If the Bengals are competing with the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like, okay, and the Bengals have something like this as opposed to what Kansas City has to offer. Not that they don't have, a plush locker room and things to offer in that regard. Sometimes that can be a tiebreaker, and it might be down the line, but it's not far down the line, I can tell you that.
Sounds like the new building at First Star Logistics, Lap, all the things that we see
That's
there.
Right.
So, again, you got the instant reaction from Dave Lapham on the new Bengals locker room. Sounds exciting. It sounds like the step forward that the Bengals needed to continue fighting for AFC championships and their first Super Bowl.
Dave, it's like players. If the ownership, the organization, and the coaches all have empathy for their players, it really, really helps the bonding process. And I mean, this ownership group decided we're not sparing any expense. That's what the architectural design people were telling me. And whenever there was, okay, here's three choices, what's the top of the line? That's what we're doing. I mean, they spared no expense. So they definitely they put some resources into this, and the finished product shows it.
He's Dave Lapham. You've been in the trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. Please remember, Like, subscribe, and share In the Trenches with Dave Lapham and also the First Star Media Group. Lap will be catching up soon as Bengals practice is getting ready to start.
Here we go. First padded practice, Dave. It's always an interesting dynamic. You know, now they're ramping up. It's not it's not underwear ball anymore. Now it's big boy. It's big boy football, big boy pads. Here we go, Dave.
Look forward to talking to you again later today, Lap.
You got it, sir.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.